Sure.
This is Bunny, or at least Bunny is his hacker handle. Back in 2003, he published a book.
Yeah, perfect, yo. This shit's working.
Called Hacking the Xbox, just after graduating from MIT.
Yeah, I was at MIT as a grad student at the time.
Oh, and just as a random fact here, the term hacker actually emerged from the MIT Tech Model Railroad Club in the 1960s, and that ethos sort of paved the way for the hacker culture today. They were hacking model railroad sets to make them do things they weren't intended to do, and Bunny fit right in with this hacker culture at MIT.
Basically, every toy, every game console I had gotten since childhood, I was taken
I
apart.
got some
And,
Chinese.
like, if I got tired of playing the game, I would just, change the resources in the game and get the high score or whatever it is. So it was more fun to sort of like hack the game than it was to play the game itself, is was the bottom line.
Around this time, the original Xbox came out. Bunny got a hold of one and found it had high-end computing parts in it.
It was, when I took it apart, it was very clearly a PC to me on the inside, right? And being able to run my own code on it, put Linux on it to do, make the game do what I want to do, right, was just a natural impulse to me. If you paid whatever $300 it was at the time for this thing, that's not a small amount of money, particularly to a student, and then you're told that you can't use it for what you want to use it for. Like, what if I'm done playing games? I need a computer to write my paper, right? This is ridiculous, right? So that's sort of like the feeling that ran through my blood at the time.
So that's the goal. Bunny owned an Xbox, which had all these parts that a computer would have, and he wanted to use it
Hot
like
oil,
a
they give
PC.
me hot
Yeah,
sauce.
it was basically a high-end PC. It should be able to run, my word processing software, or I should be able to just tell it to boot to a shell or something like that, so I can do what I want with it. Seemed like a reasonable prospect to me.
So he tried to put his own software on it, but there was a problem. It wouldn't run.
So the firmware
No,
needed to be
bro.
signed, encrypted to a key,
They charge me for that shit.
and the key was not known, obviously, to people who didn't have it.
I gotta call them
And
back
so
before they
I couldn't
close
put
so I
my
can
own
complain.
code in there unless I had that key.
Challenge accepted. Forget about playing
I
the
said
games on
hot
Xbox.
oil.
The game now was to find this key and somehow make it so he could run his own software.
Right. I mean, so a bunch of people were searching for it at the time, and I figured they would just crack it open, but they all sort of pointed down to this, what was a hidden key that's read from a location inside of memory that would be sort of mapped out after you booted. So it's sort of like you sort of
I'm
the
just
proxy
testing
wake up in
this
the
so it
morning,
works
it would
tomorrow.
go
And
to a
I'll be
secret
gaming.
location, get its keys, and then it would like sort of brick over the door, turn it into a regular wall, so we couldn't find it again. So once you're in that outside space, none of the other exploits could figure
They
out
ain't gave me
what
no
the key was.
spoon, bro.
And
That's
so it was obviously hidden
fucked up.
somewhere in the hardware, sort of extra architectural feature of the Xbox. And since I was a hardware guy, doing sort of research on hardware at the time, this sort of played into my alley, so I started poking around.
After a lot of research, Bunny had an educated guess that this key probably travels over a specific wire or bus. And he tried to figure out a way to sort of sniff the data that was going over that bus.
Simply put, I built a little circuit board that could capture the data going across that bus and log it to
Let's get this shit
another piece
rolling.
of hardware that we could use for later analysis. And then essentially, as when we sort of boot the device, we could watch the that secret ROM going to the CPU, and then observe the key embedded inside that secret ROM.
And this worked. He captured the data, which looked kind of like it could be a key. He tried using the key in different ways to test some code, but it wasn't working. But then he used the key with a certain offset, and shazam, the whole thing started being decrypted.
So this
I
dude
had to pinch
had
myself. I mean, I couldn't believe it.
Microsoft.
And then I was like, this can't be. Like,
Let's see how we
a
did it.
mistake in the code, couldn't be right,
Let's see
And
how
so
this
then I
dude
just
did that
double
shit.
checked and double checked. I was like, holy cow, this is it. Like, this is the key. I couldn't believe it. I think it was like 4 a.m., right? And so my girlfriend was asleep already in the hut, so I wasn't gonna bother her, right? But I was like jumping out of my skin and like couldn't like scream and shout. So I sent a note into the IRC forum that was on at the time,
This shit is dry as hell.
and other people validated it that was correct. And then the next day, I saw my PhD advisor and told him,
How's the audio?
And that,
Hello? Mic test 1, 2, 3. Hello? Nah, let me fix this shit real quick. Hello? Hello?
that's when he informed me about the DMCA and all the consequences that could have happened as a result of this. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't even realize this was like, I didn't even realize this was like a thing. Like why, how could this even possibly be illegal for me trying to run my own code on my own box?
The DMCA, or Digital Millennium Copyright Act, specifically says it's illegal to disseminate technology in order to circumvent copyright protections. But the excitement of cracking a key on the Xbox was thrilling. Bunny kept tinkering with it, and eventually got the Xbox to run Linux, which was a victory in this little game he set out to play. But now there was this looming issue that this whole thing might be illegal. Bunny, being a good MIT student, wanted to do the right thing.
We want to do the whole responsible disclosure thing, like, you know, sort of tell Microsoft about the problem, you know, figure out the right way to present the research, you know, that sort of stuff. And so for several months, it went back and forth with lawyers and whatnot, trying to figure out what was the right way to disclose the research without, you know, doing it irresponsibly.
Bunny and Microsoft came to an agreement. Microsoft said, you can publish your report, but
So it's basically just don't share the key, right? You can tell how you did it and, you know, what the research was and all the methods, but just don't print the exact key. That's reasonable, right?
Bunny started writing about how to reverse engineer the Xbox. But he had to make a choice on where to stop with all this hacking.
I kind of wanted to avoid anything that could be perceived as unlawful, particularly because I wanted to go public with it and I wanted to share the results of the work, right? So you can't really play it both ways. You go white hat or you go black hat, right? And so I just solidly decided I was going to go white hat on this one.
So one thing led to another, and Bunny ended up writing an entire book on how to hack the Xbox and reverse engineer it. He ended up actually self-publishing the book and sold it through his own website. And guess what? It became fairly popular.
Drive up to the post office with I had this old Maxima sedan, filled floor to ceiling with with books and envelopes, and they're like, oh, it's that guy again, that weirdo with the car full of books. And they bring out a big, whatever the rolling cartons are, and I would just dump it all in there.
And this book inspired many hackers to learn how to do this and to take this
No
so
paper
much
either, but
further.
that's
I think the problem that every technology faces is that every technology is potentially dual use. This happened with the atomic bomb. You know, some people thought they could, you know, create an energy source for humanity, and other people saw a weapon. I think there is a responsibility of the technologists to consider potential ethical ramifications of what they do, but it's also not the place of the technologists to deprive all of humanity because they solely judge that, you know, technology may be used one way or the other. It's just something you have to be aware of in the disclosure and how you educate people how to use it. You know, we didn't say, oh, you know, man shouldn't touch fire because fire can lead to burns, right? It also leads to cooking and heating and staying alive, right? So, you know, the question does keep me up a lot at night, but at the end of the day, some people are going to do what they want to do, right? And you know, who am I to say what's right or wrong? And, you know, over time, sometimes things will evolve in a direction you can't control, but, you know, I think to each their own at that point in time. It's like, you know, there's only so much you can do to sort of, you know, control destiny.
I decided to try out a Casper mattress, and let me tell you guys, that is the best decision I've ever made.
After just one night sleeping on this mattress, we were hooked. Our new Casper's is
Oh my god, it's water, bro.
In this video, you'll discover what sets Sri Lanka's street food apart from any other country,
Well, that's sure. Oh my gosh.
including India.
This right here, I'm very excited for. This is cow brain.
But first, let's back up.
According to Sri Lanka's constitution, Parliament must elect a new president.
2 weeks before I arrived here, Sri Lanka's citizens ousted their own leader in the midst of an economic crisis. I didn't come here in search of conflict, but I did come here in spite of it. Now, amidst the aftermath, I have an opportunity to see the capital of Colombo, meet its people, and try its food for the very first time.
First of all, Sri Lanka or Sri Lanka?
It's Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka.
Today, I'm on a mission to experience this country's vibrant street food flavors,
So this is our own version of a taco.
whipped up by skillful, passionate cooks and chefs.
Take a look at this. This is the
God
Crabzilla.
damn, that shit
It all
looks
starts here. In Colombo, the meal that unites all ages,
Bro, I'll
all
still eat that
professions,
bitch.
all people, is rice and curry. In shops like this, the curry selection seems endless. Here at Lulu Marisa, lunch is about to begin.
Good morning from Sri Lanka. I'm in the kitchen of a rice and curry shop, and this is going to be my first taste of Sri Lanka. Yeah. This place has a load of curries, including curries I've never heard of before. Right here, the preparation of a jackfruit curry.
So the dude is gonna taste Sri Lanka, okay?
Hot the jackfruit meat, then throw that in a hot pan. Add coconut milk, onions, green chilies, curry leaves, and pandan leaves. Then season with salt, turmeric, curry powder, cinnamon, and mustard paste. In only 20 minutes, these sparkling flavors melt together as one.
Take a look at this. This is jackfruit that's not even ripe. It's still white. I did not ask, but she seems unbothered. It has a little bit of a tougher texture. It's not sweet. No flavors of jackfruit. If anything, it has a slight, like, kind of rind taste to it, like the green part of a watermelon. We're gonna find out why they're using that type soon.
Yo, bro, I love juicy watermelon, but it gotta be like fucking juicy.
Every
No
time I
white.
go to India, I'm talking about India because that's where I've had the
All
most
right.
success in my life. Obviously, not many folks in India are eating beef, but I don't think I've ever had pork curry.
It's made with pork belly, shoulder, ribs. All tossed in a fiery cooking vessel, along with
I should've
roasted
got the
curry
pork
powder
curry,
and
man.
oil.
What kind of food does Sri Lankan food most often get compared to?
It's often compared to Indian cuisine, but we are so unique. It's different.
A delicate, volatile combination of components that make up a flavor bomb. Turmeric powder, roasted curry powder, chili powder, black pepper, salt, cardamom, garlic paste, something called Garcinia Cambogia, cinnamon,
Yo.
ginger, garlic, fried lemongrass,
Proud of Argentina today. They won
curry
the
leaves.
Our food
They
and
won the
our
game.
food, especially the authentic Sri Lankan Sinhalese cuisine, has a lot of herbal properties and values.
They won the
So
game
it
against
really
Mexico.
nourishes you,
Mexico.
plus it heals you, mind, body, and soul.
Joining me on my mission to understand Sri Lankan food and culture, Ruzaina, Sri Lankan local and food
I
explorer.
want to jump into this. This is jackfruit. Just how do I go for it? Just dig in.
I love jackfruit, but you gotta steam that thing.
The flavors slowly reveal themselves. The black stuff, is that a chili?
Yes, that's
Oh great, I just bit into one of those directly. It doesn't taste like jackfruit at all. It just seems to be more about the texture. It has a nice kind of firm texture to it.
I love jackfruit, but you gotta warm that, like, steam that bitch for like 5 hours.
Good? And then here, I've never seen a pork curry ever in my life.
unique to Sri Lanka.
Are you a fan of this?
I haven't tried it.
Oh yeah, why not?
Today
Today could be the day.
No.
Ruzaina is Muslim, meaning she only eats halal food, and while pork is not on that list.
This is a great pork. The spices are caked on there. It has a little bit of a bitterness to the spices. Not curious? The texture of the pork is wonderful. I was thinking, is this something I maybe would have in Thailand? But I don't think so. Even though they eat a lot of pork there, this is one of a kind. I think you can only get this here. So good and absolute first rate. It's so spicy. My brain is boiling. I know that there's a lot of conflict here, there's a lot of issues. Stepping out of the airport, driving down the street, as a tourist, as someone who's not been here before, it is not immediately apparent that there's such strife here. But the irony is not lost on me that we're sitting here feasting, especially me as an outsider coming in, gorging on delicious Sri Lankan food, while a lot of people here can't afford food because the prices have doubled and tripled.
Right now, this island nation of 22 million is experiencing its worst economic crisis since its independence in 1948. Due to poor government management and the lingering effects of the pandemic, key foreign exchange earning sectors like exports, remittances, and tourism were all brutally hit.
Sri Lanka is in a mess.
For months, people here have suffered unpredictable blackouts and skyrocketing inflation, leading to shortages in food and fuel. Schools even had to cancel exams because paper was in such short supply.
Right now, there's a food shortage.
I don't know, I wouldn't be able to tell the
Actually,
difference
the
between
farmers
Sri
are the
Lankan
ones
and
who are going to
Indian.
do it all because they're trying their best to feed the nation, feed their families, and do everything. So while they're feasting here, this kind of feasting you'll only see in urban cities. The moment you step out, which is the majority of Sri Lanka, you will see how it's affecting them. Because sometimes they don't even have one meal a day, and they're going through it right now.
Oh shit, that's crazy.
In hard times of great uncertainty, some folks are taking whatever actions they can, whether just getting by from day to day to something much more extreme.
So,
Meanwhile, there are others who keep doing what they do best, sticking out the tough times until those times give in to better days.
Welcome to our next destination. This is the Ministry of Crab. This place is well known, legendary, iconic for its seafood. Here you can see they have some clams. They have giant freaking shrimp like this. Take a look at that. River prawns that weigh up to a pound or two.
Shoot.
But that is not what they're known for. Of course, this place is known
Nah, I
for
got
giant Sri Lankan mud crab. Up here, they've got all the typical sizes from small to extra large, and then they've got jumbo, colossal, oh my god, and crabzilla. That is
my
what we're
God.
getting today. Take a look. Do my first look at it right now. This thing is a beauty. This is approximately 4 pounds of crab right here.
Burrowed deep in the soft, muddy base of Sri Lanka's mangroves, a large crustacean, distinguished by its bluish
Fuck,
green
I
feet.
dropped
It's not
so
even
much.
attacking me. It's like very well behaved. It's polite.
A delicacy flown around the world more than Taylor Swift. Mainly in the form of exports to places like Singapore. A single one of these creatures can sell for hundreds of dollars.
This is like the Rock's bicep put into a claw.
But for too long, these costly mud crabs weren't really eaten or appreciated in Sri Lanka. That was until 2011, when the Ministry of Crab was founded, utilizing this locally caught delicacy right in their own backyard.
So we are cooking the pepper crab. It's a famous dish in Singapore.
Meet Darshan Munidasa, a local chef of Sri Lankan and Japanese descent.
The pepper crab has been very prominent in Singapore's crab dishes, and what they do is something very, very dry. To be the opposite, I want to create a wet pepper crab. We take black pepper. This used to be black gold in Sri Lanka because long time ago, until the Europeans came here, we had no red chili in Asia. Huge crabzilla, look at that, like almost like a steak. And through this, we add the black pepper sauce. And this is where the flavor of the crab moves into the liquid, and that becomes our signature
Nah, bro, I don't like.
black pepper crab.
Leave it to
I don't
steam
like
for 20
seafood at
minutes,
all.
And when the shell turns bright red, plate, serve, and enjoy.
How do you ensure that a crab is a premium crab?
Apart from coming from nature, everything like that. You can grade it before it's cooked. So it's a selection process that makes the crabs good. From 100 crabs, maybe you will choose 30.
And then who eats the other ones? Your direct competitors? Are you always selling out of the crabzilla?
Yes, it's a rare, you find one, and when we get it, it's a grace of God.
But if you just give me the meat part, right?
Sorry, it's my first one. I have to.
With nothing being there, I'll eat
Everyone
that
goes for the
shit.
pork first.
Just the meat.
That's almost like a steak.
Oh my god, it's so nice. Here I go. I got a pretty good amount.
Oh yeah. Wow. The flavor of that sauce is really just seeped into the meat so perfectly.
It's so sweet. It's juicy. There's so much meat.
Like 400, 500 grams per
Shit,
pork.
nah, I'll
You
eat
know,
that.
the idea
I'll
of
eat
eating a
that.
spiny lobster, but really, there's no claws.
So these crabs walk with these.
Save $60 over your first 6 months of live TV in Spanish on a variety of top networks.
Yes.
It swings with these. Therefore, the biggest muscle is around that leg.
Sure. Oh my god.
I never get sick of this.
It's so good.
These guys are really sweet and less texturing, membrane.
I grew up in the Midwest, so I have the least experience in the USA when it comes to seafood. So nobody's like looking into the hips. They just want like the big legs, and that's about it. But there is so much meat hidden in all of this. But it requires a little bit of skill, a little bit of patience, and some knowledge to know kind of where to break it. Wow, the sauce in here is tremendous. It's peppery, but it's delicate. It doesn't have some crazy intensity. Oh, it's mushroomy too. Are there mushrooms inside? This is one of the best crabs I've ever had. You have restaurants all over the world. You've lived in many places outside of Sri Lanka. What keeps you here now?
This is home. This is an amazing place. Where else do you find crabs like this with 0 food miles?
Darshan Munidasan is Sri Lanka's most renowned chef restaurateur, best known for founding some of Sri Lanka's most successful restaurants, including Ministry of Crab.
How has the recent crises affected your restaurant here?
Oh, it's affected everyone. All this is happening right after a terrorist attack in 2019 April,
Oh, shoot.
followed by COVID in
2019, oh, that
2020
was-
April, and 2 years down the line we arrive at these problems. So it's been 4 years of non-stop. We never got a break.
Has Sri Lanka bottomed out and it's just up from here?
In April of this year, the government of Sri Lanka banned the import of artificial fertilizers, pesticides, and weedicides.
2 weeks before I arrived here, Sri Lankan citizens demanded their president to step down. Facing massive protests, President Gotabaya resigned on July 13th.
So now we've got to some point of returning to some kind of normalcy. We're slowly getting into the recovery.
That's a
Hopefully things will get back to normal fast.
That's an
So
Indian
it's
last
we
name.
also
I know
found a
somebody named
solution. We have 100 staff working here, and we need to make sure they're also doing okay. And not only them, everyone in the hospitality industry. So I think we need to rebuild the economy.
July 13th. Facing massive protests, President Gotabaya resigned on
Go
July
to
13th.
So now we've got to some point of returning to some kind of normalcy. We're slowly getting into the economy, and hopefully things will get back to normal faster. To an extent, we are also part of the solution. I mean, we have 100 staff working here, and we need to make sure they're also doing okay. And not only them, everyone in the hospitality industry. So I think we need to rebuild and be positive and move forward.
It's inspiring for me to see that so many places around the world, whether they're struggling with politics or natural disasters or many of the onslaught of issues that Sri Lanka has faced, we always just see a huge exodus. And this is the time that you really need people to hang out and to not give up on the country or the people.
Daunting tasks and huge challenges await Sri Lanka's new leader, but at least the evaporated hope of the last regime is now starting to trickle back.
Where are we right now?
We are at Alut Kade. Can you see how busy it is?
It's wild here. I love the mood. I love the feeling. It reminds me of certain other places I've been. I will not say the country's name, but mine is the honking.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Abdul Hamid Street, a visceral street food scene in the middle of Colombo City. Locals and outsiders come here for all types of food made fast and on the spot. Our first stop, Usman Zero, a 25-year-old restaurant sending out thousands of these bowl-shaped pancakes each night.
This is our first thing we're gonna try right here. What am I looking at?
This is one of the most iconic food from Sri Lanka.
I want that, bro.
As the egg hopper, it starts with a small hot pan, then a thin layer of batter, a blend of rice flour, eggs, sugar, coconut milk, yeast, and cooked basmati rice. Pack an egg on top, then season with black pepper.
So how do you eat it though?
And you can fold it and then bite into it.
It rolls up pretty nicely. It's in a very handleable shape.
So this is our own version of a taco.
Of a taco.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much exactly like a taco. Oh my god, it's water, bro. That is awesome. It's the easiest way to eat a fried egg with your hands. The shell is so crunchy and
There's
just
not
super
no
soft,
taco.
delicious fried egg in the middle. I love fried eggs more than anything. This is a chutney. Is it spicy? It looks definitely red. Is that too much?
It's up to you.
Because by and large, intestines. Oh yeah, really salty, but really fresh too. How's the chili? I love it. I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah.
But that's fantastic.
Our next stop is the 60-year-old hub, a place where locals flock when they're craving biryani. But this is biryani like you've never seen it before.
To me, typically I would think of biryani as some kind of basmati rice and maybe mutton or some kind of fatty animal, tons of oil, tons of spices. So what does biryani mean to you?
It's a type of rice noodle. We call it biryani
Biryani.
because we have our own version.
First, stir-fry eggs with chilies, tomatoes, and onions. Add rice noodles, fresh milk, gravy, and season with salt, pepper, and chili powder. That is the carb. Now, for the protein, stir-fried slices of marinated beef. Add chopped onions, chilies, curry sauce, ketchup, and lime juice. Plate, serve, and eat.
Oh my god, let's try this out. Well, I've not tried something like this anywhere. It is real spicy. Lots of fresh chili.
The biryani drop.
New Sleepover Climate 360 Smart Bed. The only smart bed in the world that actively cools.
Please in there. Oh man, I like how there's a bed of the noodles, the string hopper, and on top of it, fresh tomatoes, fresh chilies, and then the beef too. Very fresh tasting, surprisingly balanced. This is good street food. How much is it for this whole platter?
Okay, so this is like a special platter, so it comes to about 2,000 rupees.
I think you and I, if we hadn't eaten all day, I think we could take it down.
Oh, easy.
Okay, this right here, I'm very excited for. This is cow brain. Wait, that's not a beef brain.
That is a big brain.
I think that's a pig brain.
No, it's not.
Cows are so big, their brain has to be bigger than a pig's brain. Did you ask?
Yes.
I will never eat brain, bro.
Beans introduced to a hot pan, add chopped onions, red
Oh, that's
chilies,
crazy.
and green chilies. Then
I'ma
egg,
gain
salt,
IQ.
pepper, chili
Fuck
powder,
no.
curry powder, milk, roti, chopped carrots, and leeks. Now stir until the roti absorbs all the flavorful sauce. This is the base. Now for the topping. The cooking vessel awaits the arrival of an egg that cow breaks. Add even more flavor with chili powder, curry powder, and salt. Then make it healthy with sliced carrots. Dump that on top of the roti. Find a friend to share it with.
We eat this because instead of cheese, this gives that flavor.
Yeah, guys, I don't believe you, but it's gotta be better than vegan cheese. So you just break off a little piece, mash it down into the roti, which has been cooked up with all these other seasonings. Go for it. That's really good. I can't believe it. I'm not gonna call it cheese, but it is so creamy and it pairs so perfectly with this bread. This reminds me of chilaquiles. In Mexico City, they take tortillas, they douse it with salsa, and then it absorbs all those flavors. And then they put some toppings, you eat it. It's like the Sri Lankan version of that.
This shit got spicy real quick.
Well, then, yeah, that was your connection. The egg taco. There's something about this texture with this roti, and it's like soft but chewy at the same time. Did that with some brain. There's a really distinct differences in taste here. It's light, it's spicy. This is a bit heavier, but I still don't find it to be overly abundant with spices. It's very well balanced.
So this is typical night food. It's after party food. They come here and they eat this and the next day they'll feel better again.
I'm gonna eat some brains at the party.
You know, it's so wild. There's a few people who I told that I was coming to Sri Lanka, and they're like, "Oh my God, have you seen the news?" And this happens so much to me now that I don't even know what to believe when I'm watching news anymore.
Yeah.
If I was here 1 month ago, would it be a lot different than it is today?
Yes. This place was completely shut down.
And shut down by who?
There was a big protest going on against the ex-regime, so it was just shut down. Nobody was interested because we didn't have gas, we didn't have electricity, we didn't have a way of moving forward with, because they need to buy stuff and we need petroleum to move around, so there was nothing.
So now it's completely different.
Now it's getting better. There's a new leader and there's a little bit of breathing space. I don't know what happened magically, but slowly getting better.
It's not that long ago that there was really like civil unrest within the country.
Yeah.
But now, do you feel like this place seems a bit more unified?
Definitely. I think the recent protests brought everyone together because when hunger strikes, nothing else matters. People need to eat. Food is life. So when that strikes, everyone unified.
Do you think it'll last? I mean, how long until people turn their ire towards something else?
We never know because Sri Lankan people are very innocent, and if you are a very, very smart leader, you can manipulate your masses and your people. So it can happen, it may not happen.
So, no idea.
No idea.
Are you hopeful?
I am hopeful. I hope that people will see through all these games, and not fall for the traps that is being put to divide and conquer.
Fantastic. Best Ever Film Review Show is a small team of independent creators, and everything we do here works because of you guys. Click the link in our description to join our Patreon and receive exclusive benefits. A brief. How do I know which food I'm supposed to eat with my hands? supposed to eat with a utensil.
As a Sri Lankan, we eat everything by hand.
Or someone left some perfectly nice spoons over here.
Oh, ta-da!
I hate to say this, but I like silverware. The only issue, I don't like to get like chili powder.
Meet Sui, time-saving countertop kitchen robot. Sui's cool cook technology.
Sui.
Refrigerate your ingredients while you're away. Then
In this video, you'll witness the mystifying funeral ritual of the Turayan people.
What's happening right now?
A ritual that culminates with a shared feast of up to 25 buffalo and countless pigs.
I have no idea what to expect, but let's find out.
But first, let's back up.
This thing's not even spicy. I put like a whole fucking container to feel it spicy.
Very country of Indonesia. Here, you'll find the Turayan people.
They shoulda gave me the hot oil, bro.
Unique food.
They tweaking off that Geeko.
Architecture that goes back hundreds of years. But once a year, over a
Tweaking off that Geeko.
villagers gather to send out their loved ones to the afterlife.
When the funeral takes place, how many buffalo do you plan to purchase?
Today, I'm on a mission to understand the Turayan's unusual relationship with death
In the house behind me, there is a dead body.
and experience the food that comes with it. It all starts here.
My dude, this is wild. Is this the first day of the funeral?
It's the first day. The guests coming, the family coming, showing the condolence, giving the pig, giving the buffalo, and they are being served by the tea, coffee, and the traditional dish.
What do the local people think about having tourists come here to this sacred ceremony? Is that good?
For our cultural aspect, the family also happy of watching the people become hurted. It's like curing of the soul of the body.
So better to have a lot of people, even if
Yo, I
they're
need some
foreigners,
water.
than no
H2O.
people.
That's right.
Wow.
Unlike the usual funeral scene in the West, replete with dark clothes, grief, and sorrow. Here, the burial process is a colorful, frenetic community affair, orchestrated by not only the deceased family, but by the community as well, culminating in a single, climactic send-off. This is Romu Solo, the traditional funeral ceremony of the Turayan people.
The pigs have arrived. You can always tell.
Across from me, Andre, my local guide in all things life, death, and food. Starting with breakfast.
Here we have a litany of snacks. Is this all Turayan food right here?
That's right.
This looks incredible.
Welcome foods are prepared before funeral goers arrive. In a day marked by mass animal slaughter, our meal begins with a smorgasbord of small bites, lacking protein, but certainly not lacking any flavor.
Oh, it is spicy.
That one we call sokap, the sticky rice.
Is this coconut or pork floss?
Coconut.
Oh, this is really outstanding. I've never had a flavor like this. It is infused with a crazy amount of spice.
Next one.
These are called ondi ondi. They're balls. Really tasty balls. Grated cassava is joined by palm sugar, then formed into this shape. After boiling to firm it up, douse it in grated coconut and fry to crisp it.
Get one inside to the.
Oh, sugar. Everything here is definitely not bland. I went from super spicy to super sweet.
There's also the option of a sweet potato ball, made with a similar method and coated with sesame seeds.
So delicious. What I love most is the chewy outside. What is this one?
We call it lapa.
Lapa. I like the wrapped ones because I never know what I'm going to get. Aha.
This is a type of cake consisting of grated cassava, coconut flakes, and palm sugar. Wrap that in banana leaves and steam.
I like it. Like your version of, what do they call the pounded rice, Kai, in Japan? Mochi. Like your version of mochi, but more sweet.
Finally, there's this. They call it waji, or sticky rice bars.
So I like that you take similar ingredients, but remix them in different ways.
Made with a combination of melted palm sugar, grated coconut, and sticky rice.
Sticky and sweet. You really need to wash it down.
Should've been drawing my hand. That shit look mad sus.
So I noticed the announcements right now. What are they talking about?
They announce about the pig already bring to who it will be addressed.
Bringing animals to the ceremony as an offering is considered an act of respect and gratitude to the deceased. the most valued are pigs and buffalo, with their donation announced loudly over the PA to highlight those who contributed. Depending on how many pigs and buffaloes are brought here, the funeral could go on for days until all the animals are sacrificed for one or several big feasts.
I understand that tomorrow we're gonna actually see a buffalo
That's supposed to be
How
curry,
many
bro.
buffalo will be slaughtered tomorrow?
Yo, don't disappoint me like last time, bro.
At the same time,
The magnitude of the funeral is determined by the family's pocketbook. The burial of a noble elite could result in the slaughter of 25 to 100 buffalo. But even your average Joe still commands the sacrifice of up to 8 buffalo and 50 pigs. Rich or poor, the slaughter of buffalo is non-negotiable, and families will go to any length in order to save up enough money to buy them.
Is that a coffin up there?
yeah, that's right. The body is a man and passed away 5 months ago. Yeah, 5 months ago.
Wow.
Damn, they wait so long.
The buffalo. It's the most sacred animal in Turian society, and their image can be found everywhere. For the living, they're a sign of wealth. But for the dead, the buffalo is believed to be a guide to the afterlife. No buffalo means no funeral. So until the funeral day, the body is embalmed and kept inside for weeks, or months, or even years.
In the house behind me, there is a dead body. A dead body that's been there for quite a while, years at this point. With me, I have a gift. This is a customary practice to bring a gift of some sort into the house. It could be
That's
food,
not no
it could
curry,
be
bro.
alcohol, or it could be this. Here I have a large number of natural products that will get you high in some sort of way. Tobacco
Yeah.
leaves, we have betel nut, we have limestone powder, which activates the betel nut, cigarettes, and a couple things I don't even recognize. These look like long string beans, but they're not. It is interesting to me that this is like a very valued product here, and this is something they'd be very happy to get even in the afterlife. So let's go inside and take a look.
They want to get high afterlife too. Hell yeah.
What is surely a bizarre sight for most is completely normal here, as the Turian people are at home among the dead.
Respect.
Should I put this?
This
Down here?
yes.
Okay.
Pang kumya dahil ba? Nabang kumi sa manili pangan.
Jakob here has lived with the corpse of his father for quite some time. Perhaps he's able to cope with this sight because he doesn't actually consider his father to be dead. Death will come, but not until the funeral. Right now, Jakob refers to his father as Tomakula, which means sick.
Sacrificing as a last respect for our parents, the more buffalo, the bigger respect we get for our partner.
Today I've come to another nearby village.
At Lovesack, we design furniture for life. Real life.
Where funeral processions have just begun. Soon, there will be a massive death feast, including an entire cooked buffalo. But there's a lot that must be done first. Right now, villagers and family members prepare early morning food to fuel the community for this long, intense day.
First, you must wash your hands. Some people might wash both hands, but I know here people are supposed to just eat with their right hand. But this hand is for something else. If you don't know why, you can look it up.
On the menu this morning, boiled pork seasoned simply with salt and braised in a giant steel vessel. On the side, rice and stir-fried eggplant.
Let's try out this eggplant right here. Ooh, oh my god. It has that slimy, kind of trademark slimy eggplant texture, very mushy, and then there's spice. It hits you like a freaking hammer. Here we've got the pork beef. They boiled the heck out of it. Let's try it out. Oh yeah, man. That's good pork. It depends on the piece you grab. There's really fatty parts and really soft, meaty protein parts. Beyond that, the pigs here, these are very unique looking mountain pigs. You won't find these types of pigs being turned into pork chops in the USA. So the meat, the taste has a little bit different quality to it. Hit it with a little bit of rice for balance. So the meat, the mountain pigs, you won't find these types of pigs being turned into pork chops in the USA. So the meat, the taste has a little bit different quality to it. Hit it with a little bit of rice for balance. So lunch is wrapping up right now. In just a moment, we're gonna get the buffalo. I have no idea what to expect, but let's go. Let's find out.
More words, more speeches, more waiting. Then finally, when all is at peace, the ceremony begins.
Why is it when they take the coffin out, they pretend like they're dropping it? What is happening?
It's more like shaking.
Like waking them up?
Yeah.
Really?
Now they're singing the funeral chants. And that's how the condolence expressed of the village and the family.
What happens after this?
They will lift up the body on the catafalque, we call lakia, by putting the body up there. This parenting village recognize that the stages of the body already changing.
The coffin is oriented toward the southwest, the direction of the underworld, home of the dead. If he doesn't complete his journey to Puya, his soul will be lost forever. However, his guide in the afterlife has just entered the village, unknowingly about to embark on this society's most honorable task. The sacred guide is escorted to the middle of the square. Palm wine is poured on the animal, symbolizing the permission requested to release its soul. Bowl.
I've seen that guy somewhere. TikTok, maybe?
When prayers and speeches subside, blood is shed. The buffalo spirit is free, ready to guide the deceased to Puya. Silence is replaced with chanting. The death feast for this Ramu Salam has officially begun. No time is wasted as the buffalo is taken apart. Some of the meat is gifted to the local guests, but the majority will be used for today's meal. Every section of beef is reduced down to small meat chunks that'll soon join one pot. Inside, 5 giant vessels of rice are steaming. Outside, 2 tanks are about to receive a massive volume of buffalo meat.
Cooking is underway with the buffalo right now. This is the same cooking vessel they use for the pork, now using it for the buffalo. Actually, using the pork stock inside to cook this meat. I'm gonna help them put it in. This thing is full of meat, lungs, heart, stomach, everything you can imagine is inside of there.
Now for the flavor. Salt, chilies, garlic, onions, galangal, ginger, and lemongrass. As the meat cooks, they add brain, intestines, and other offals. This is ready to eat after a couple of hours, but as the day goes on, they'll continue adding more and more meat. On the side, buffalo barbecue, with meat that's been rubbed with MSG, then skewered up and roasted over a wood fire.
No, that's bomb. That's bomb right there. That's gonna taste dumb good.
Joining our meal, Maria, the host of today's event, and
Cook
daughter of the
MSG,
deceased.
bro. Anything
How do you
is
feel?
dumb good.
I feel fine, thank you for asking.
Do you think today has been a success so far?
Yes, it is.
The food looks amazing. Although I gotta say, I was taken aback by the cooking style. It's just like cut everything down, boil it as hot as possible, throw in some spices, done. So what is the purpose of cooking it this way?
It's the simple way that quickly cook and we can share to the villagers.
But it's the most efficient food, the most tasty food.
It will be.
It will be. Here we have buffalo barbecue. Is that well done?
It's well done.
Do you like it well done?
We like it.
We do have knife, but often this
Oh, you got strong fingers. Oh, thank you. I like a little bit of spice. Try it out. Oh my. God, that is some of the hottest sambal I've ever had in my life. Even you struggling, huh? There's a sauna inside of my body. Do you like chewy meat?
We like it, and it's also because it's rare to consume the buffalo meat. It's only taken from the funeral place.
So only one time per year?
Yes, August, September, the time for funeral.
Here, the main recipe. So they put a little bit of everything in here. Intestines, stomach, lungs, meat, maybe heart and liver too. Which part is your favorite?
This one.
Oh, the stomach.
Yes.
There's no way to even split this in half. It looks like a carpet. Okay. I gotta say, pretty impressive. It's tasty, super chewy, interesting coarse kind of texture. I thought it would be more gamey, but it's just a bit salty. So this is just meat. Much softer. Oh, look at this piece. Oh, that's liver. Really delicious.
You say mommy.
Mommy. Mommy means
yummy.
Yummy. Okay, good. I gotta be careful. My wife is behind the camera. I can't look into her eyes and say mommy. Come on, man. You're gonna get me killed. Oh, yeah. Rib is very nice. But I'm really interested in that lung. Oh, I think this is lung. It's black. This looks like the lung of a bisu. Someone who smoked 3 packs of cigarettes per day.
They got my fucking order wrong, bro.
It's not at all. It's quite soft. And when you rip it, you can kind of rip apart. It's very fleshy. Super chewy. Very different from any other texture here.
For more delicious, a little bit more spicy.
Oh, I didn't even know. I thought that would break the rules. I gotta say, I underestimated this a little bit. I thought it was pretty simple. It is efficient, but an efficient way to cook food that's very satisfying. Could I ask about your father?
Yeah, of course.
How long ago did he become sick?
Was in November last year.
You know, anytime we have someone close to us pass away, there's a period of grieving. Grieving where you're surprised, you're angry, you're shocked, you're sad, and eventually you kind of accept what happened. And so for you, did the grieving kind of happen already?
Of course, at the moment that he passed away, and we crying and laughing together, like both mix the situation.
Yeah.
But during since yesterday and until today, we are not really sad. But I think next week, the day that the burial, and I think they're gonna be emotional for a while.
Because that's the end.
And that's the end. And
True
we're
end.
ready for definitely to say goodbye.
Her English is dope.
To our father.
Once the funeral is complete, the coffin will not be buried. Rather, it'll be stored either in a cave or a small mausoleum. Next time, I'll learn that the Turian's relationship with death does not end here, as every 3 years, the bodies are removed in a ritual known as Menene.
Our channel's mission is to hunt down and document the world's most unique food. During our travels, I've had the chance to spend
In this series, I'll be spending 72 hours with Africa's last monkey-eating tribe.
This is a piece he's giving me. I have no idea what part this is, and actually, I kind of like it that way. Didn't I? Yeah.
But first, let me back up. I came to Tanzania to learn about the day-to-day lives of some of their over 100 unique tribes.
You can sniff tobacco? What is going on here?
But no tribe here is quite like Lefitzade.
Sniff some ass crack, bro. That should get you high as a kite and high as a bitch. We get lit.
Right now, I'm headed far from civilization, deep into the countryside to make first contact.
Here we've driven out pretty much to the middle of nowhere. We're gonna leave our vehicles here and here, and then we're gonna pack up all our stuff and put it on some donkeys. Where we're going, there are no roads.
My mission over the next 3 days is to document everything.
These are the arrows these guys are making every day. They use their mouth to kind of adjust it.
And do everything they do.
I'm probably bending it.
Hunt when they hunt. And eat when they eat.
But as far as dessert goes, out here in the wild, you're not going to get much more than this.
I want to the sea, we're one of the world's most ancient cultures to teach us all about life.
Right now we're walking to the Hitzabe camp. I have no idea how far that is. We're gonna find out soon.
From the beginning of their time, dating back thousands of years, the Hadzabe have been living in the Lake Eyasi Basin of northern Tanzania. Yet their first contact with the modern world occurred only 50 years ago.
How do you say hello? Anabawa. I'm gonna have to work on that.
I'm welcomed by a group of Hadzabe hunters just steps away from their camp. Right now, they're preparing for lunch, which means this morning they've already been out hunting. Lucky for them, the hunt was a huge success.
Oh my God, record, Jesus Christ. We've just walked into camp and this is what they're presenting right now.
This animal will serve as their protein for today.
Monkey. Oh, what is that? Is that arrow?
An agile, quick, tree-dwelling creature shot with a homemade arrow by hand using techniques that go back centuries. This makes deer hunting with a rifle look cute.
Oh yeah, I just saw a fucking deer outside. It was two big ass deer outside.
Oh my God. He's showing me the hands. This is wild. Something like I've never seen before. I feel like I just went to a county fair and I got the worst prize ever. Oh, I want the stuffed monkey.
Should have brought my toink.
Oh, it's a real one. Jesus Christ.
For those upset by this imagery, it's worth acknowledging that all of our ancestors lived in a way similar to this at some point in history. When you're here, you don't have to imagine how people lived thousands of years ago. You can see it for yourself. Cooking here is survival cooking. It's purely about making the food edible as quickly and efficiently as possible. Though that's not to say that they don't enjoy it. Regarding the animal itself, the verpet monkey is not endangered. In fact, some farmers see these monkeys as farm-destroying pests. The Hadzabe see them the way they see all wild animals, as food.
As suspected, they just charred the entire monkey, kind of burning off its fur completely. Now they're taking off all the limbs. Oh God, he's making me hold the head. So he's eating it right now. He's got the arm. It's unusual because I thought they were going to cook it a lot longer on the fire. But the arm itself, even the hair, they don't try to get it off. They're not scraping it off. It burns, it singes off, and then they just start eating.
The organs are roasted near the fire for later consumption. As a reward for a good hunt, a few dogs get a bit of intestine. Just a few steps away, under the shade of a tree, the Hadzabe women are doing their own meal prep.
There you go. It looks like they've got a big pot of ugali just made from corn flour and water. They're probably going to pair that with some more monkey meat, I assume.
So now they remove the skin and then they cook it.
Half the meat is chopped down to size, and half will be saved for this evening's dinner.
I'm slightly out of my comfort zone right now. This is a lot more than I expected and a lot more than I'm used to seeing right off the bat. I predicted that maybe we'd go on a hunt and we'd build up to a moment like this, and instead I've arrived and boom, we're right here eating a monkey. So I'm doing my best to kind of keep it together, document it, and explain to you what I see happening here at the same time. Now I'm gonna go join the guys and see if they are eating the organs or what they're doing now.
Back at the hunter's camp, the meat is disappearing fast. Nothing here goes to waste. Any desperate hyenas wandering through the camp tonight will slip away sorely disappointed. As promised, they've saved some pieces for me.
It's still steaming, it's still hot.
In a world where every calorie is chased down and hunted, this offering is one of immense generosity that I simply cannot refuse.
That's really tough. Oh, he's shaving off a piece of skin.
Maybe it is supposed to chewing, and 3 minutes and then you swallow it.
Really?
Yeah.
This is a piece he's giving me. I have no idea what part this is, and actually I kind of like it that way.
I know what this dude's gonna say. Oh, it's not actually that bad. It's not actually that bad as I thought, yo. Oh, okay. Let me get another piece.
Here we go.
This dude's nah. Hold up.
It is a peculiar taste, incomparable to any other kind of protein I've had in my life. It's not all that pleasant. First of all, it's chewy. Kind of a bitter taste to it. It's a little bit earthy and a little bit wormy, for lack of a better word. Part of me hopes that this isn't what human tastes like. I don't want to know what human tastes like. All right, I've officially eaten monkey. There's no going back from that. I think if I lived out here, I'd be the first person in the tribe to become vegan.
Up in the women's camp, the meat is gathered in a pot for boiling. The meat itself is seasoned with only salt. When it's well cooked, lunch can begin. In the meantime,
I have some questions. Can I ask you? You're hunting, but why don't you eat goats or cows or stuff like that? What?
Stop. Before you do any holiday shopping this year, you really have to see this. I'm going to show you one simple trick.
this is Chaba, a skilled hunter and smoking enthusiast.
They have already eaten.
Have you eaten goat?
Yes.
He's regaling us with stories of a goat hunt using Hadzane, the click language unique to the Hadzabe.
I love the way this guy speaks. So what is your favorite food?
Their favorite is baboon. It's the traditional for them. If maybe they go to hunting, they hear sound of the baboon. And they ambush and they go to hunting.
Baboons are the prized kill for hunters here, weighing in at 30 to 80 pounds and sporting deadly vampiric fangs. Hunting baboons with bows and arrows is high risk and high reward. Nonetheless, they're allowing me to join tonight's hunt.
This shit is
Scouting
slash.
right after lunch. Lunch is served in big cooking pots. Everyone washes their hands, then dives in.
She just handed me a piece. It's boiled. I'm guessing it has to be better than whatever I just had because that was just completely charred meat with hair. I mean, better than the roasted one, but yeah, that's tough to get used to. That is something real different. Here, can I just think this rest? Yeah. I want to share with you. Okay, cool. Here they have a crap load of ugali and then kind of a broth that's been made from the monkey meat. When I look at how they're doing it with the ugali, they make a ball and they put a thumbprint in it like this. That becomes a little ladle and you just dip it right into the broth. Not bad. The broth, it tastes salty and you can taste some of the fat and meat that's kind of boiled out of the monkey itself. Guys, what is your name? Her name is Makalita Paul. Do women hunt here too? Do you ever hunt?
The typical day of a woman here includes gathering edible roots and fruits. Women are also tasked with making bowstrings, building camp, and raising kids. Today, only about 1,300 Hadzabe remain. They live in small nomadic groups of roughly a dozen. The Hadzabe hunters are ready for baboon scouting. Baboon raids are done at night, ensuring the Hadzabe maintain the element of surprise. Right now, we're headed towards tonight's intended target to get a look. They carry their bows because they always carry their bows. They never know when they'll cross paths with their next meal, be it an animal or this.
There's a fruit here that they're showing me.
I wouldn't suggest eating every berry you come across. But if these guys say it's okay, well, then it's good enough for me.
They want to actually get rid of the skin, so they squeeze out the seed like that, and they throw this part away. So you squeeze the inner seed into your mouth. Throw the skin away. It tastes like beans, like green peas that have not been cooked, quite frankly. That's awesome. These guys just eat and move, eat and move. Come quite a ways. I'm out of breath. Everyone else here is actually in
My
shape.
feet is asleep, my brain.
Turns out this is a baboon spot. I've been told this is where the baboons will join together. Are the baboons here right now?
In the evening, you come back here. So he said it's where the baboons sleep.
The Alba baboon is the most wide-ranging of all baboons. This species is native to 25 countries throughout Africa.
If you look over there, the rock jutting out, there's a lot of different spaces where baboons could hide or sleep at night.
Cha'aba has found proof that baboons were here recently.
This is a piece of shit.
Fish from baboon, so just eating the fruit. So if you can join us at night, the place where we are now, we can hear when they're coming back in the evening. So then after we come and attack them.
Twice a week, the Hadzabe attempt to win a baboon feast. More frequent hunting would chase the troop away forever. To prepare for tonight's raid, these soldiers must stock up on ammunition. Kongoroko is a reliable source for arrows and bows.
Oh yeah.
With enough raw materials in hand, it's time for a quick snack.
They just dropped into a tree. They saw what they call some stingless bees. There was a funnel going into a tree, chopped it open, and they peeled out this right here. Take a look.
This is the purest form of honey you'll find anywhere.
Can I try it? Oh, thank you so much. So kind, because this looks delicious. It is still full of tiny little bees. It's waxy, it's sticky. Very different reaction than the monkey. It's delicious, it's sweet, it's like honey. I mean, it is honey, but somehow it's
Oh, honey is good as hell, bro.
You suck it and what remains here, that is just
I'm
kind
not
of the
gonna
wax.
suck
Oh,
it.
what the? He just took the wax from me and he put it behind his ear.
I think the stuff you put behind the ear, so the stingless can smell it and they also can fight another.
Oh my gosh, that's fascinating. I don't know if it works, but I mean, these guys know a lot about food. I would starve to death out here, but everywhere they look, they see opportunity for something to eat. It's incredible. This is a treasure for the Hadzabe people. This small stream that runs about a few hundred feet away from the main village. They drink from the stream, they use this water for cooking, they use it for everything. Of course, they aren't going to do anything to pollute it. They will do their best to keep other people's cattle away from it too, so they're not adding any more impure things into the water.
The Hadzabe lifestyle is in balance with nature because it must be. When they're thirsty, they drink from the stream. But if they block the stream or hoard water, other animals that depend on that water will move away, leaving the Hadzabe with no food. As the sun approaches the horizon,
Nah, she cutting up foot, bro. That's
start
right.
preparing dinner. The remaining bits of monkey are chopped and boiled. This time, it's accompanied by a local herb gathered by the women. The herb is picked and washed. In the meantime, the hunters light a fire to aid in their arrow making.
They're getting these ready for the hunt tonight. They have a very unique way of doing it. They just got this wood earlier. They put the wood in the fire. They use their mouth to kind of adjust.
At Big Y, the holidays get us thinking about how magical.
Gotta
the
make
season
that
truly
arrow for
is.
that bow,
This
my boy.
season,
Just it and straighten it. And then from there, they make a point and they put on a steel tip and a feather tip. It's more complicated than that, but that's the easy version of what they do.
Under the cooking tree, boiled meat joins fresh herbs. On the side, a new pot of ugali is bubbling. Once satisfied with their arrow making progress, the guys do what guys have been doing from the beginning of time. Barbecue, using some leftover meat from today's hunt. What you see here is a common cooking method among many African tribes. With nightfall around the corner, another fire is lit in a half-built hut to offer warmth to those inside. This is a
love
temporary
fucking
shelter
camping,
made of
bro.
dry
That shit
grass
is
over a
fun.
frame of intertwined branches. Though from what I've gathered, houses are rarely used here, unless seeking shelter from rain.
As soon as the sun goes
black. There's nothing out here except for our own lights that we brought now. These guys have great vision in the night, they hunt in the night, and they do everything else they need to do when it's still dark. Or they have the light of the fire and that's it. Right here they have the skewer from the monkey. Looks like it's about done. Okay, you gave me a macro piece. This is an honor, it's a gift. It's not like they have a refrigerator stocked with food. This is the food. After this, they have to go out and earn more food. So I'm not one to deny a gift like this. Second time today, prepared in a slightly different way. This time, more pleasant for sure. Before, the taste was really affected by the burnt hair, the burnt skin. It still has a very unique taste. In some ways, it's chickeny, but then it has like that red hemoglobin that beef does. It's probably not going to become one of my comfort foods anytime soon, but I'm starting to get a little bit more rather into it. It's very different. The fact that it doesn't look like a monkey anymore is helping me out quite a bit. I gotta say, these guys are extremely generous. This food is not easy to come by, and just to even get one bite is quite an honor. Go bit. Thank you.
Dinner is ready. Boiled meat, herbs, and ugali. I know I could join them, but I decided to stand back. In the Hadzabe community, everyone contributes to the meal and everyone receives an equal share. It may be a function of kindness, or the fact that if you're too greedy here, you won't be around for long. From the sideline, the dogs look on with empty bellies. They need to be hungry for the upcoming hunt. After that, they'll be rewarded. With dinner out of the way, it seems the only task left undone is the baboon hunt. Just as the hunters worry about the dogs growing lethargic, it seems they have fallen into the same trap.
Unfortunately, after everybody ate, they didn't have the fire in their belly, maybe because they had too much monkey in their belly. And they went to sleep. Seeing them go to sleep is interesting. They legitimately just sleep outside. They might put a mat or a piece of fabric underneath them, but that is where they're most comfortable sleeping. You might ask, why don't they build better houses or build more houses? Well, it's because they're nomadic. Very few people anymore around the world are truly nomadic. I mean, the true reason to be nomadic is because they have to follow their food. And that's exactly what they do here. And so they've just gotten used to living this way over years and years of doing this. So that is the end of this day.
Why
They're
the
all tucked in.
fuck
I'm gonna get
is-
tucked in too. And we'll see you in the morning.
Nah, I can't.
Their day starts as every other, with a cigarette and the preparation of their weapons. A few steps away, the women are busy making breakfast. Ugali is the go-to option since they ran out of monkey meat last night. While they prepare, I get to know the chief.
What's your name? Sakuromata. I'll work on it. Last night at 4:15 a.m. I woke up and I heard some sound like ooh, ooh. What was that?
He said the sound is hyena. When the dog is at night, they get out and chase the hyena, or sometimes hyena can eat the dog.
Really? The dogs and the Hadzabe have a mutually symbiotic relationship. The dogs help the men hunt, and in return, they're fed.
Today, are you gonna bring the dogs from?
To put their dogs in their best frame of mind for the upcoming hunt, they're not given breakfast. After this meal, all 5 hunters will head to the savannah in search of today's protein, led by the chief, Sakaro. Then Chaba, the storyteller and skilled tracker. Then there's Lufufu, the muscle. This is Kanda. I call him the sharpshooter. You'll find out why soon. Last is young Dunya, the eager mentee.
We're in the forest already. These guys move so fast. Somehow they're able to take in their surroundings and see if there's anything worth killing while they move this fast.
Today, the tribe doesn't set out with a target in mind. Any wild animal that crosses their path could be added to tonight's menu, from field mice and birds to giraffes and lions.
This is incredible. They flew into a tree and they just narrowly missed it, so he sounds a little pissed off right now. All right, the hunt continues.
As the number of large animal populations have dwindled over time, the most frequent catches these days are the dik-dik, impalas, bush pigs, vervet monkeys, baboons, and the mongoose.
He's looking for a mongoose.
The mongoose sleek bodies, ranging in length from 7 inches to 2 feet, are perfect for slipping into cracks and crevices, away from the hunter's sight or reach. In situations like this, the dog's talent is put to use.
Right now they're in the rocks behind me, doing their best to dig around and see if they can get mongoose.
They scent the prey and alert the hunters.
So why is bitch texting me at
Waiting
11:30?
for the hunters to show up and finish the job.
It just ran down there.
Meet Subi, time-saving countertop kitchen robot. Subi's cool to cook technology refrigerates your ingredients while you're away, then switches to cooking based on your mealtime. Multiple zones ensure that everything is ready at precisely the same time. Subi makes life easier, healthier, and more delicious.
Get your holiday shopping done at Overstock. And remember, everything ships for free. Overstock.
There's one guy down there. I got my own. He just got away. Looks like we won't be eating mongoose today.
It doesn't take long for Sakura to discover another lead.
This is bush pig. Wow, it's so tiny. I don't know how he notices this stuff. You just see where the 2 pink toes would be. That's it.
The further they follow the nearly unseeable pig tracks, the deeper we descend into this matrix of foliage.
The intensity is now bumped up a bit because we are going through thick forests and we're going through shit like this.
In every capacity possible, these guys are built for this. Well, not so much.
And this one, it looks like cute little leaves, and then you touch it, and instantly, you can't get the f out of it. You get what I'm saying here?
We've been at this for an hour and a half. I don't know how these guys do it. It's not just the cardio, it's the uncertainty. It's the fact that they're walking into a thick jungle. He's wearing half an animal skin back here, and he's still kicking more ass than me.
In my fatigued state, I barely even spotted these.
Whoa.
This is a colony of Montebello ants.
They actually do not eat these. When I asked why, they said, well, because they bite. But I've been to Myanmar, I've been to Cambodia, they eat ants, and they also eat ants that bite. They're so sour. Maybe they just don't have a method for it, or maybe it's just not to their taste. I've never seen anything like this, though. They're huge, they're swarming just outside the hole of their nest. It looks like they're eggs. I'm not sure why the eggs would be outside their hole. Maybe they're doing some spring cleaning, take the eggs out, dust it off inside, bring the eggs back in. Probably not that, but I don't know. Mainly I just wanted to rest while they keep hunting.
While I was distracted by the ants, Honda laid eyes on a new target.
Oh, yes, bro.
First prize of the day, a blue-naped mousebird, put down by the sharpshooter. To celebrate, how about a quick smoke? Tobacco is one of the very few items that Hadzabe acquired through trade with neighboring tribes. This tobacco specifically comes from the Datoga people. Tobacco and papers accompany the Hadzabe in almost every activity. When they warm up in the morning, when they cook, when they make weapons, pretty much any time of day or night.
Chief, how you doing? How you feel?
Oh, this game that these girls be playing, bro.
Is this a normal hunt? Do you feel disappointed, or is this kind of usual? Like you try a lot, you miss a lot, and then finally you get one?
You gotta fuck a bitch talking about.
Going through these thickets, I've got a shirt on, it's not a good shirt, but it's a bit tough. There's a lot of stuff that scratches you. Does it not bother you? Are you not getting scratched by the plants?
So for them it's okay, but just asking you, do you have a lot of scratch?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I will not project weakness. If you guys go back with no meat, will the women mock you? Because I know my wife would mock me.
He said no. If we not succeed, okay.
But you know what? We're gonna succeed.
Perhaps I could contribute to today's catch by asking the tribe to slightly alter their diet. These are dung beetles, and I've eaten them before in Thailand.
But here, Hadza, they do not eat dung beetles. Their insect game seems to be pretty weak. They eat the honey, but I'm not even sure if they would eat the bees themselves. This is a male getting a big ball of poop. He's gonna wheel it back to his lady, and then she's gonna lay eggs in there. This is a very romantic moment. And it could be dinner. I'm gonna talk to these guys about this. This is a good idea. You know, it's a lot easier than meat.
It turns out stopping for the beetle was a mistake. Once again, the signs they read lead them into another maze of sticky leaves and thorns. I finally concede. I am exhausted.
We have gone 5.7 miles. We kind of lost most of the party. Well, we still got this guy. Hey. 4 people are still hunting, and they went into the really thick stuff that I don't know if I can get my big, tall, lumbering German ass through, period. Our only choice now is to kind of double back to camp. I have no idea how far that is, by the way. I'm hoping it's not 5.7 miles. Hopefully we've been going in circles. I don't know.
With Dunya, the mentee in the lead, I head back to camp defeated.
We've walked over 7 miles now. I hope now you guys can see there's no way this can be scripted, outlined, or planned. I would have loved to catch something within an hour. Something big, something crazy, a freaking antelope. But no, it did not happen. So we just got back to camp. The guy who brought us back is next to a rock over there. In fact, he is out like a rock. Hunting, it is a lot harder than I thought. From 8 a.m. to about 2 p.m., we walked 8.5 freaking miles. I do think it's a little bit tough with us there. I think there's no way that we weren't either slowing them down or creating extra noise. But now I can see on any given day, nothing is guaranteed. You just gotta be lucky. You have to have the right skill. You have to have the right timing and the right teamwork. That's why I said yesterday when they offered me monkey multiple times that they are very kind and very giving, because that is not easy to come by. So they're gonna.
What did they catch?
I do think it's a little bit. With us there, I think there's no way that we weren't either slowing them down or creating extra noise. But now I can see on any given day, nothing is guaranteed. You just got to be lucky. You have to have the right skill. You have to have the right timing and the right teamwork. That's why I said yesterday when they offered me monkey multiple times that they are very kind and very giving, because that is not easy to come by. So they're gonna come back soon. Let's see what they've got. Oh my God, they've just returned. Boom. Boom. You look like you've been through hell. Look at you. Guys, let's see the final result. What the heck?
This is known as a klipspringer, a type of dwarf antelope living on rocky terrain in Africa. But that's not all they got.
And this guy, he has a monkey, and there's another monkey here. This is insane. What have you guys been doing? I can't believe it.
One klipspringer, 2 vervet monkeys, a mongoose, a blue-naped mouse bird, and a bunch of baobab fruit. This is a high-end multi-course feast for the Hadzabe. First, the chalky baobab pulp is stirred into a drink to refresh the weary hunters. The baobab fruit is a hidden treasure of Africa's wild. Its pulp contains 10 times the antioxidants of oranges, and with 6 times the vitamin C. While the women get to work in their open kitchen, the men take time to rest and enjoy their triumph.
So you got a mongoose. What do you call this, man?
Zoo is the sound of this animal, so they call it zoo.
Oh, I love whenever they talk about the animals here, they also mention the sound that they make too. So they're gonna cook this up soon.
Small animals like this mongoose are handled by the women. Quimbili Quimbili, the unrelated elder of this Hadzabe group, leads most of the cooking activities. She chars the mongoose until its hair burns off. That is just an appetizer.
Can you grab the monkey? Ooh, okay. Our channel's mission is to hunt down and document the world's most unique food. During our travels, I've had the chance to spend plenty of time in some of the most welcoming kitchens in the world, and I've learned so much about the lore behind different meals and different cultures. Exploring a home's whole story, from the kitchen on out, is what the new series on Rocket Learn's YouTube channel is all about. Introducing Home Lore. They travel across the U.S. to find some of the coolest locations, like a tiny house that fed troops during World War II. If you want to see that spot and more, head over to youtube.com/rocketlearn, and thank you later. Oh my gosh, I mean, it's still warm.
The monkey, the guy showed it.
Fufu and Chaba, the two hunters who put down these monkeys, have the honor of keeping their tails as trophies. They'll be used to decorate their bows. The meat is shared with everyone. The first monkey is cooked by the men. They roast the organs as soon as they leave the body. The remaining meat is portioned, skewered, and barbecued. The second monkey is handed to the women. It's chopped in pieces and brought to a boil with local herbs.
Grandma's whack as fuck, bro.
All the intestines are given to the dogs to reward them for a successful hunt. The hunt that I missed altogether.
How'd you get the klipspringer? You got it? Yeah, buddy.
The klipspringer is not an easy catch. This nocturnal mammal can be found on rocky terrain going up as high as 15,000 feet on Mount Kilimanjaro. Its yellowish-gray coat is an effective camouflage against a rocky backdrop, but still not enough to escape a skilled hunter.
He said they showed was the arrow poison.
Holy cow, I mean, that's enough food for a couple of days. I wouldn't be surprised if they just are eating this today and tomorrow.
Big animals like the klipspringer are skinned and cleaned by the men. They carefully remove the poisonous arrow that pierced the animal's stomach. The offals are grilled straight away, while the stomach and the carcass are sent to the women. Here, the little mongoose is ready, so they chew on it as a snack while preparing a more substantial meal. The klipspringer leg is chopped and simmered. The rest is hung over a tree for later use. That is the closest thing they have to a refrigerator.
Do you need to hunt tomorrow, or can you just chill for a couple of days?
Yeah, he said we just eat this, but tomorrow goes for the baboon.
The klipspringer's stomach, which has been contaminated by the poison paste, must be washed thoroughly before eating. Out here, there's only one way to check if the poison is still present. She tastes it, and if it's bitter, she spits it out, knowing that it'll require more washing. After a few tastings, the stomach fails the poison test and it's left on the tree. At the same time, the hunters are enjoying the fruits of their labor.
Right here is the klipspringer organs. They eat the organs first. The organs are really prized, they're delicious. And they're right here in my hand. That's pretty good. It tastes like liver, like a medium preparation. It's got some blood and hair on it. Why do you guys eat the organs first?
They say this one is easy to cook.
It's hard to ascertain the unwritten